It's so funny when we think of the term of change. Most of us can say when we are frustrated, we want change. But when we hear the term change, we don't really like those transitions. And we do see the divine masculine really moving through these as well as the divine feminine. We are going to have a look at this read. It is looking quite pivotal. And I do feel they've made some revelations. For those of you that don't know, I'm your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. My name is Yildiz. So if you haven't grabbed a cup, grab one, sit back and relax. And if you do want to download our app, Go for Gold, we have it via our links below. You can go to our website and remember to subscribe to the website as well as YouTube. We will tuck in and have a look at what I see for the divine masculine this week. Now, as soon as it come out the gate, these cards, I was like, wow, okay, let me get some context of this. We saw the karmic card, the karma, and really this can be interpreted in a few ways. The other was really in the transition of how these cards move through the storyline directly to the outcome. I do see some real positive energies. Now, the first thing I did pick was a thought process relating to what relationship was what and where things linked. And I do think this month's quite pivotal for those transformations and changes and revelations. And I feel this person's quite nostalgic. I feel this person can be actually casting a critical eye on circumstances and deciphering the code, really seeing, is the juice worth the squeeze? Where do I put this? Where do I put that? How do I make some context of this? And I think that, especially from the crowning energy, this cycle that they're in, it's almost like they're leaning over and realizing, oh my gosh, I think I walked down the wrong path, and the person who I thought was riding my back was actually my divine feminine. And, when we say divine feminine, it's like, sometimes we say things that are hard because it's to the people we love. And so sometimes we can take it out of context and we can personalize it because there's trauma relating to the fourth house, which can be childhood. And this year is going to be quite pivotal for the divine masculine. It's going to give them an opportunity to co-create, to grow, to expand, to plant those seeds, but also to look at where they had planted those seeds and what karma can be associated to them, what judgment they're making, what spiritual connections they can actually receive or enlighten from those areas. And I think that's quite a pivotal point for them. Now, we do see the divine masculine this week actually looking back to the divine feminine. And, I did see a few energies popping through in this read. One was the karmic cycle. The second was to do with tribe and family. And the third was divine feminine. And, when they do look back to you, they do feel happiness. This is something that they felt that you are the one that got away. You are the one in their past who they feel they would like to grow a future with. And they don't want you to remain in the past. They do want you to be in the here and now with them. And this is something that they're actually working on this week. They also feel in the context of communication, it's been very difficult to communicate. And both parties, and this was a revelation that came up a few weeks ago for me. And the one analogy I was using, and I don't know if I used it in the readings, I feel I did. And it was with the healing perspective. I think it was on the update to do with the Aquarian moon. I feel as though in the context, sometimes it can be, say, a family loses somebody and they bound together so tight and they won't let anyone in. And this was a personal experience I had in the connection. Beautiful family, and they'd gone through quite a traumatic event. And, it was still the same subject, but the behavioural patterns came through in a different manner. And then there was on my side of the fence when we had a loss in the family. We really didn't know quite how to address it. Some of us may be more spiritual inclined. We understood that it was like this never-ending cycle. So it was like they were here, but it was just different. Also looking at the dynamic of people moving away and maybe moving into their relationships for that healing, but away from the family members. So both is healing and both is doing exactly the same. And it's all coming from a fair-based frequency of, if I get too close to you, I'll lose you, or if I'm not close enough, I could lose you. So it's almost riding that person's back. And I think we're coming to this harmony at the moment of accepting that endings actually do happen. And, sometimes it's a bitter pill to swallow that in order to have love, we have to be open to it. And that, yes, of course, we are in the back of our minds through wounds, experiences, 3D realities, that we could lose those things, but they're also something we can take with us because they're a memory, they're a connection. And I feel the divine masculine here is coming through like the god of war. And they're like, you know what? I know what to do now. This is worth fighting for. This is something that I'm wanting to have a rebirth with. And they know that the divine feminine here has fought ever so hard for this connection. And they feel that equally, if both parties are on the same page, this can really move above and beyond. This can really go the distance. And this is something that they're really wanting to have a rebirth with. Now, the other context is that they do feel that the divine feminine has, due to the past, really set some firm boundaries. And for those that move into communication, what I do directly see is that it's almost like setting the groundwork, setting the standards for what can and can't be. For some, it might have been that you did actually have that conversation with this individual, and this can be over the last few months. I do feel it's past tense. And again, it can be coming back up for reiteration. I'm also seeing a third-party energy that is a conflicting individual. Now, it doesn't have to be that this person has any romantic entanglement in them, but it's more what they're showing me. Even if this person is in a karmic relationship, I do feel the intention and the movement forward is to do with the divine feminine. But I also feel that both parties here are super aware how external influences were allowed to impact this connection and how they are really seeing it's, oh God, that's a really interesting word to use. It's almost like the interpretation came through. The devil energy to be seen for what it really is. We have this Lilith energy in reverse, and it's like this person could be quite tactical. This person could be quite manipulative. And, especially when you've dealt with people that are like this, you're not going to be able to not spot them, because you're going to see these individuals for who they are. You may test yourself a little bit in still dealing with individuals that are similar, but you're also going to see how they can actually morph and grow, which is sad, because it does show that they can change. But it is showing that they choose not to change. They choose more to change in a sense of manipulating others than changing to change their world and to have it something of a more permanent level. Now, I do feel this person can be coming up this week, moving through, and I do think both parties are well aware of this. It's like they're not naive to the fact that this frequency in society exists, or within both sides. Now, why do masculines and feminines attract karmics? Because your light is so bright, and because sometimes what you have is what they lack, and they're attracted to it, or you directly can match their vibration. And I do feel at this point in the game, it is that both parties here are actually matching each other's frequency, not the karmic third party. However, that does not mean that you won't be tested. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be attracted to the light. And I do see divine masculine and feminine acutely aware of this and really coming in as a binding force. But I do see the divine masculine this week actually standing up to these individuals and addressing the obstacle and pushing back on it. We will check in with the synergy next week. Separately, stay tuned for what can come through. We are going to be covering the masculine, feminine, and the karmic weekly. If you do follow that content and you do want that subject matter, make sure to subscribe and we will check in with that. If you haven't seen the other episodes, jump in. They're all released on the same day. And we do have super chats at the moment. So anything that's scheduled at the moment will be up in the live tab. You can click on them if you want a mini reading. Separately, if you do want a private booking, you can go to the website and book a session. We have our super chat sessions also within our Sage in a Circle membership. They're going to remain. And to sign up to that for the second round offers, the link is directly below. We have a landing page. We cover astrology. We cover the twin flame path. I give you regular updates. You can PM me daily. You have access to me and my resources, being a medium, astrologer, soul coach, and twin flame. Anything you need, it is hosted within this network. So if you want to come along and join us, do such. Otherwise, I will see you on the other side for our next edition of the Divine Masculine.